border. But before we go to a word of our sponsors, we're reading part 5 of By Grand Central Station, A Sat Down and Read. I know you were like, it's Sunday, Kieran. Yes we are. So let me just get my flaps out. You know, anytime I can get my flaps out on a Sunday, it's going to be read long time. Part 5, just in case you all think I'm hoaxing it. I know what the hell I mean. And so, returning to Canada through the fall sunshine, I look homeward now and melt. For though I am crowned and anointed with love, and have obtained from light all I asked, what am I as I enter my parents' house but another prodigal daughter? I see their faces, at which I shall never be free to look at dispassionately. They gaze out the window with eyes harassed by what they continually fear they see, like premature ghosts straggling homeward over the plain. And I, who have the world in my pocket, can bring them nothing to comfort their disappointment or reward their optimism, but supplicate again for the fatted calf which they killed so often before, and so in vain. Parents' imaginations build frameworks out of their own hopes and regrets, into which children seldom grow, but instead, contrary as trees lean sideways out of the architecture blown by a fatal wind their parent never envisaged. But the old gold of the October trees, the stunted cedars, I'm going to keep you in suspense there. What going to be the horizon? There you go. Have that for free. The chilly gillies? Is this gillies? The chilly gullies? Yeah, gillies. Kieran, you could do this. The chilly gullies with their red willow whips intoxicate me in conform belief in what I have done, claiming me like an undisputable mother, saying whether or no darling. The great rocks rise up to insist on belief, since they remain through Babylon is fallen, being moulded but never conquered, by time pouring from eternity. Can I expect less than sympathy from those who see such things when they draw aside their curtains in the mornings, like Antaeus, when I am thrust against this earth, I bounce back recharged with hope. Every yellow or scarlet leaf hangs like a flag waving on me. The brown ones lie on the ground like a thousand witnesses of the simplicity of truth. So love may be blind, the expectations in my parents' eyes, the eloquence rise from my urgency and melt them too with ruth. Understanding my now stalk down Spark Street in every clerk, undoing wrongs begun before Wolfo in honeydew cafes, a kind of look glance towards me as I open the door. Asking no one's forgiveness for sins I refuse to recognise. Why do I cry when, to be returning homeward, though I land I love like a I cry then, to be returning homeward through a land I love like a lover. That's very nice off the tongue. From a long way off, those faces with their prayers like wounds peer out of the window, stiff with anxiety, but ready to welcome me with love. The sound of their steps pacing before the fireplace voices all the pain of the turning world. Oh, Absalom, Absalom, melt with Ruth. Coming from California, which is oblivious of regret, approaching November whips me with the passion of the dying year, and after the greed already hardening part of the American face into stone, I fancy I see kindness and gentleness looking out at me from train windows. Surely the porter carrying my bags will extracted a spiritual lesson for this hardship. Surely this acceptance of a mediator role gives human dignity. I cannot read for the life of me today. But apparently this is really short because I'm right at the end. Marvellous. And over the fading wooden houses I sensed the reminiscences of pioneers' woman and the determination of early statesmen who were mild but individual and unable to allude to Shakespeare while discussing politics under their elms. Politics? Damn it, Kira, this is the shortest one. You could have whipped through this by now. Discussing politics under the elms. No great neon face has been superimposed over their minor but memorable history, nor has the blood of the early settlers, spit-in feud and heroism, yet been bottled by Coca-Cola firm and sold as 10-cent tradition. The faces, the faded houses, the autumn air, everything is omens of promise of the prodigal. But leaning against the train window, drunk with the hope which anything so unbegun always instills, I remember my past returnings. Keep that vision, I pray, pressing my forehead against the panes. The faces are kind, the people have reserve. The birds gather in groups to migrate, forecasting fatal change. Remember when your eyes shrivel aggrievedly because you notice the jealousy of those that stay at home. Here is no underlying of an accident picturesqueness, but awaiting, unself-conscious as the unborns, for future histories to be formed upon it. Remember that although this initial intoxication disappears, yet these things in that hour moved you to tears, made of the outward gaze through the dining car window a plenitude not to be borne. Flaps away. Okay, we move back into that poetic style then. Haven't we smart? Okay. So we have this imagery of the prodigal son, of the prodigal child, and clearly she's not embodying what her parents thought she was, in terms of her love, in regards to her status, in regards to what she's meant to be in a society. But apart from that, lost on me again. I feel as though the story is... this is quite plotless as a book, but because we're kind of moving into this poetic prose sort of style, not that the plot's lost on me, I just don't think it's progressing in a way that I want it to progress. It kind of doesn't. It's I find like the story quite stagnant, but we are halfway through. It's a very dense novel, though. It's absolutely dense novella, I would say, rather than a novel. Is it out of my depth? Yeah, I'd probably say at the moment I think this is out of my depth. I don't think this is a book that I get. I don't get it. Well, I get what it's doing. I get what it's doing, and I guess what Smart is saying, but it's not a book that I'm like, wow, yes. And a lot of the imagery, a lot of the the Greek names that pop up straight over my head, or some of the imagery she's using straight over my head. But am I enjoying it? We're halfway through now. I think if I was reading this alone, I probably would have given up by now. Bye!